Hello students, welcome. Today, we're going to dive into a very important chapter from your syllabus, non-conventional energy sources and, of course, energy conservation. Now, understanding this is not just about getting good marks in your exams, it's really about understanding our country's future and our own role in it.
So before we start talking about new energy sources, let's ask a very basic question. Why do we even need them? Why can't we just continue using coal for our power plants or petrol and diesel for our cars, just like we've been doing for so long? Let's just take a moment and think about that.
Well, the answer has two really big problems. First of all, these conventional sources, what we call fossil fuels, are limited. They are non-renewable. That means they will eventually run out. And the second big problem? Burning these fuels creates a lot of pollution, which damages our environment and our health. So you see, for the sake of our future and for our planet, we absolutely have to find better alternatives.
Okay, so if the old ways of getting energy have problems, what is the solution? Well, the answer is what we call renewable, or non-conventional energy. This is our road to a sustainable future, a future where we can grow and develop without harming our planet.
So, what exactly are non-conventional energy sources? In one word, they are renewable. That's the key word to remember, renewable. It means they won't run out. The sun will always shine, the wind will always blow. And using these natural gifts allows for something called sustainable development. That's another very important term. It simply means meeting our needs today without making it difficult for future generations to meet their needs. It's all about finding a good balance.
And you know what the best part is? India is blessed with a lot of these resources. We have so much sunlight, a very long coastline for wind, and a huge agricultural sector. So, let's take a quick tour of the clean energy sources that are going to power India's future. Let's start with the most obvious one for our country, solar energy. As a tropical country, we get bright sunshine for most of the year. We use something called photovoltaic technology. Now that sounds like a very big word, but it's just a fancy name for the solar panels that you see, which can turn sunlight directly into electricity. This is a real game changer, especially for our villages and remote areas. And this picture shows you exactly why it's so important. In many villages, people burn firewood or dung cakes, or gobar, for cooking. But with solar power, they don't have to. This has two amazing benefits. One, it saves our forests. And two, the dung can be used as excellent manure for the farms instead of being burnt. It makes our villages cleaner and more prosperous. All right, next up is wind power. The idea here is really simple. You know how a fan uses electricity to create wind? Well, a wind turbine does the exact opposite. The wind turns its giant blades, the blades spin a generator, and the generator makes electricity. It's that straightforward.
India has a huge potential for wind energy, especially in our coastal areas. What you see here is called a wind farm. And for your exams, you should remember that the largest wind farm cluster in India is in Tamil Nadu, from Nagarcoil to Madurai. Jaisalmer in Rajasthan is another very important area for wind power.
Now for something many of you might have heard of, biogas. This is a perfect example of turning waste into something useful. We can use farm waste, animal dung, even human waste to produce gas. In our villages, the plants that use cattle dung are very popular, and they're called gobar gas plants. And remember, they have twin benefits. The farmer gets clean fuel for cooking, and what's left behind is high-quality manure for the fields.
As you can see in this picture, a biogas plant is a pretty simple setup, but it's so effective. It gives our villages energy security right at their doorstep and makes them more self-sufficient. It's a wonderful, sustainable cycle.
Okay, let's head to the coast and talk about the power of the oceans, tidal energy. Just imagine building a wall or dam across a small bay. When the high tide comes, water flows in and gets trapped behind the wall. Then, when the tide goes out, you release this trapped water through a turbine, and that generates electricity. In India, places like the Gulf of Khambat in Gujarat and the Sundarbans in West Bengal have great potential for this. Now for an energy source that comes from deep inside the earth. The name says it all. Geo means earth and thermal means heat. So geothermal energy is simply the heat from the Earth's core. In some places, this heat turns underground water into steam, and that steam can be used to run turbines and create electricity. In India, we have two pilot projects running in the Parvati Valley in Himachal Pradesh and the Puga Valley in Ladakh.
Okay, let's move on to something that's very powerful, but also a bit different from the others, nuclear energy.
This is a highly advanced technology that needs to be handled with a lot of care, but it can produce a huge amount of electricity from a very small amount of fuel.
So how does it work? To put it very simply, nuclear energy is created by changing the structure of atoms. When this happens, a tremendous amount of energy is released in the form of heat. This heat is then used to boil water and create steam, and that steam turns a turbine to generate electricity, much like a regular thermal power plant.
And what's really important for India is that we have the fuel for nuclear energy right here in our own country. We have deposits of uranium in Jharkhand and Rajasthan, and we have huge reserves of another fuel called thorium in the monazite sands on the coast of Kerala. This is very crucial for India's energy security.
So far, we've talked about all these different ways to produce more energy. But what if I told you that the best and cleanest source of energy is not producing it at all? A lot of people think that just building solar and wind farms will solve all our problems, but that's only half the story. The other half is saving the energy we already have.
I want all of you to remember this sentence. It is probably the most important line in this whole chapter. Energy saved is energy produced. Think about it. Every time you switch off a fan that's not being used, you are saving electricity, and that saved electricity is just as good as newly produced electricity.
So what can you do? Your role as a young, concerned citizen is so important. You can make small choices every single day. Maybe take the bus instead of a car. Always switch off lights and fans when you leave a room. Use energy-saving things like LED bulbs. And talk to your family and friends about these new energy sources. Every small action adds up to a big change.
Okay, fantastic. Now that we've understood all the concepts, let's switch gears and put on our exam hats. Let me show you how to write a perfect 5-mark answer on this topic to get full marks. Just follow these 5 simple steps. First, start your answer with a clear definition. Second, explain why these sources are important for India. Mention both energy and environment. Third, give at least 3 examples, like solar, wind, and biogas, with a short explanation. Fourth, and this is for the top marks, mention specific places, like Tamil Nadu for wind power. And finally, always end your answer with a strong conclusion, using a powerful phrase like sustainable development.
So, I will leave you with a little bit of homework. But this is not for school. This is for you. After all that we've discussed, what is one new energy-saving habit that you will start from today? Just one. Because every big change starts with one small step. Thank you for listening, and all the very best.